Okay, so welcome back to the channel. Today is a slightly different one, in that I am, well, off to ride my childhood dream bike. What is that? You've probably guessed from the title, but it's probably what got me into wanting a motorbike, which was unsurprisingly very ununique, but wanting to, well, having followed Charlie and Ewan on their adventures, yeah, I think that's, I loved watching those long way down, long way round. Quite a lot of mud. Anyway, as you'll have seen on the channel, I have a good friend, Andy, who I guess in my friend circle got a motorbike first back in, I think it was 2007. He's had quite a few motorbikes, done all his IAM stuff, very good, competent rider. Certainly no vest of shame for him when we were in Ireland. Anyway, I've had this Tiger for coming up for 2 years next month, and absolutely zero complaints about it. Love it. And we were talking, and I said, well, it'd be really good to have a shot of your bike, which he has offered me numerous times. And then I thought, well, actually it would make not exactly unique viewing for the channel, because there's 1,000,001 BMW GS bike reviews, and I'm certainly not going to be giving it a proper review. I'm not competent enough as a rider, experienced enough having ridden different bikes, so yeah, it will just be my rambling thoughts as I go through, yeah, the differences really I feel between this Tiger 800 XCX and my thoughts on the 1250 GS Adventure. So yeah, I am heading to Rosyth to pick up the bike before Andy heads off to work, and then have a little route planned in Kalimoto. And yeah, just where is the route? The route for today. So we're going to head to Rosyth. Then I am going to see my old boss, Dave, in Stirling. Stop in for a cup of coffee there. He's into his bikes. And from there, we're going to head from Stirling up to Callander, and then Callander round Lochern Head, and then going to have a wee stop off at Gleneagles Hotel. And yeah, then sort of head back. I'm going to do the Braco Road, which is good, and then across sort of Auchterarder, Dunning, and back to Rosyth. So yeah, just a little day out on the bike. Anyway, I shall pick this up when I get to having got the bike in an hour or so, and pick up with you then. Okay. So I have had the bike now for about an hour, left Rosyth and headed for, come see a friend in Stirling. You'll have to apologise, some guy's just punted up with a leaf blower and is making sure he does his best job. Thought I'd picked a nice quiet spot in the car park, but clearly not. Anyway, here we are. The R1250 GS Adventure. So yeah, probably ridden for about an hour in total, and oh my god, what a bike. What a bike. I messaged a couple of guys and who I ride with, including Andy, whose bike it is, and was just like, it's another level. Compared to the Tiger, if I had to sum it up, how would I describe it? I think I was asked why. Why is it another level? Why is it such an awesome bike? In comparison to the Tiger 800, it just feels a lot more planted. A lot more confidence inspiring going into corners. And yeah, just a very comfy bike. Even that seat, you can feel your big ass sat there. You've got a nice little bit of support from the pillion seat. You actually do, because of that big 30 litre tank that everyone talks about, and I've just filled it up. Yeah, it feels like you're riding in the bike, not on the bike, and I guess my Tiger feels a bit like I'm riding on it. So therefore, and actually I was looking at it, and I think the front tyre is not as big as a 21, which I've got on the 800 Tiger. Again, just feels a bit more confidence inspiring going into corners, I think. Yeah, I mean, it sounds great. I think that's probably the other thing. Compared to the Tiger 800, it doesn't sound that. I think the Tiger sounds like a bit of a sewing machine. Really revvy, whereas this just pulls from every gear and actually sounds quite good whilst it's doing it. I think that's the stock cam that's on it. So it's not the Krapovich exhaust that you can get spec'd for the 1250. So that must sound incredible. Just everyone's like, oh, big heavy bike. Really? It doesn't feel that much heavier than my Tiger 800. Ed has asked me to do a U-turn just to prove it's not that difficult to U-turn, so given I did some slow manoeuvring with my IAM instructor Jason last night, I think I might give it a shot, and pray to God I don't drop Andy's bike. But yeah, big smiles on my face, and listen, I've kept it in road mode. I will give Dynamic Pro a little play later. I have not dicked around with any settings. I thought I'd have the whole of this afternoon to ride and play around, but it's now 3 o'clock. God knows where the day has gone already. So yeah, I'm going to get going, ride some more. I'll get some footage hopefully, but yeah, I can very quickly see me getting a GS 1250 and saying thanks to the Tiger. She has been great for my first bike and my first 2 years of riding, but this thing is another level. Really, really good fun. Listen, I'm not a sports bike guy. 45 in December. And this is plenty fast enough. Plenty. Way more than I need. So yeah, and it just does everything. Does everything that I need it to do anyway. I can see why Andy enjoys it so much. So yeah. Anyway, gonna get going. Gonna do a U-turn just to show Ed that I'm not a complete muppet. I can do it. It's not that big and heavy a bike. And then crack on. We are heading from here. We're in Callander. Heading from here up to Lochern Head and round Lochern Head down by Comrie. Comrie we're going to cut across and do the Braca Road, which takes us to Gleneagles. We'll go for a wee spin around Gleneagles Hotel, a few pics, and then head from there to Auchterarder, and Auchterarder back round to Rosyth to drop the bike off. So yeah, I better get going. So I had a bit of fun filling her up. Andy had warned me that if you do not try and get the flap open within 10 seconds, you won't get it open. So I guess that's some kind of security thing. You need to have the engine off, and then I thought maybe because I've not put the stand down, I can't open it, and you're sort of in that rush to 10 seconds to get it open. Just wasn't working. People building up at the petrol station, queues building. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to phone Andy. So I did, and because I only had 30 miles left of range, and I'm up here in Callander, so I need to fill up. Certainly wasn't getting home in 30 miles, and yeah, it turns out sort of pressure builds. So the answer was to push down as hard as I could on here whilst lifting that. It just popped open. So yeah, you live and learn. Right, let's. Oh, other thing I love. Quick shifter. Never had a quick shifter. Sometimes I treat my bike like I do have a quick shifter, but I do not. So anyway, here's a U-turn for Ed, and yeah, do what I was taught last night. Ooh, foot down. Okay, Edward. So that wasn't a great start, but let me get back into it. There you go, Edward. I think that was acceptable. Certainly would have passed my mod 1 with that wee U-turn, I think. Anyway, that is that. So this is us just leaving Callander, coming into a place called Kilmahog. Highland cows, keep the tourists happy. We're heading on the A84 to Lochern Head. Some fellow bikers. Certainly picked a cracking day for it. Sounds great from here, so no idea what it sounds like outside of my helmet, but squeeze of the front brakes, very tight, very responsive. No noticeable fork dive, like if I really noticed that in the Tiger. have to say, I'm sure it's something you get used to, but not pulling the clutch in. Third gear is incredible. Pop and bang every so often. Look at that. Slightly more confidence inspiring tipping into corners now. I won't, I never hide this, I'm not the most confident. I've only been riding for 2 years, slightly better, but yeah, I'm okay in the dry. Choosing the right line. This bike just, I don't know why. I don't, no idea whether it's where the weight sits, whether it's the Tiger has a 21-inch front tire. This is slightly smaller. Yeah, it's just giving me seat, giving me that confidence, just a little quicker into corners. And you know, everyone talks about the quick shifter being really agricultural. It's incredible, I think. You know, I think you aren't meant to, and I haven't been using the quick shifter from first to second, but second up to sixth, and sixth back down to second. I've been playing around with it, and yeah, okay, that was a bit of bull, but I would say in general it's a bit of a joy. such a comfy bike too. I don't know whether the this is something I was talking about with Jason yesterday, was whether the bars are set higher. Obviously you can get bar risers, bar risers to raise the level of the bars. This feels really nice. Not that I've really noticed it being particularly bad on the Tiger, but yeah. The only thing I think I would say that I'm not struggling with but have been is the position of the gear lever. Maybe it's these big Triumph boots, but I feel like I'm having to really angle my toe to get underneath it. I suspect, knowing BMW, you can maybe adjust the angle that the gear lever is at so you can get under it better, but I just feel like I'm having to, I would like it a bit higher, I think, just so my foot slips under it without having to dip it down. And again, I'm sure that's something that once you ride the bike you get used to. Boys, that was a bit of a naughty one. Suspension is something else as well. It is so comfortable. I mean, the Tiger is comfortable. You've got like WP suspension on the XRX, and you know, it does soak up the bumps well. But this, you can just, it's like floating. You do have to watch your speed. Not just because the police do like a wee unmarked bike up here, but yes, it's very easy. You can definitely hear higher speeds than the Tiger. This, A, because I've got my earplugs in, which I have to admit I usually forget. Unless I have Captain Pugwash, aka Alex, going, David, do you have your earplugs in? So yes, it's very easy from third upwards to look down and see that you are mildly above the speed limit. One thing I'd say is, you know, having just done Ireland, 1,700 miles all in, did it the year before, roughly the same mileage, fully loaded, luggage, panniers, top box, just me, not fully loaded as in 2 up, but yeah, just a surprise really how comfy the Tiger is. And you know, I've never really, okay, by the end of the 4th day or the 5th day of Ireland, we've been doing long 300 plus days each day with literally just a fuel stop or 2. I still find the Tiger very comfy. And I bought some of those padded shorts for motorbikes, which have again, you know, again, I wouldn't actually, thinking about that, say they were lifesavers. I think they probably just added that extra bit of comfort for long days. But no, comfort's not something I've ever complained about on the Tiger. And again, I was saying this to my friend Dave. I don't, on the Tiger, I'll pull in any gear, and as I frequently get told off by my IM instructor Jason, what gear are you in, David? And I'll be like 5th or 6th, and he's like, yeah, we're in a 30, mate, put it in a more responsive gear. And I'm like, a 6th is fine, mate, you can pull and accelerate. I mean, this thing has plenty of grunt. Even if I move up to 5th, yeah, into 6th, doing 60, oh yeah, she will get up there very quickly, or quickly enough, you know. If I was going for an overtake, I'd probably drop it out of 6th, depending on the situation, but yeah. I think I just like the fact this isn't as revvy as the Tiger, and I guess that's my style of riding, and cars I buy are usually big diesels, nice smooth big V6 diesels with a lot of torque and a decent wedge of power, and I like that. And it almost feels like the comparison in this bike is that it's like a big, I know it's not a diesel, but it feels like sort of my equivalent of what I like in terms of a sort of big diesel barge, capable of doing anything. And yeah, very comfy. Maybe that's just the stage I've got to in my life. I know my friend David's VT is like, nah, that's not his thing. He likes his naked bikes and his sports bikes. But I'm not that big an adrenaline junkie that I feel the need to do that. I'd rather have some fun, travelling comfort, and yeah. These guys are from Ireland, where we've just come back from. I think this guy up front's thinking about doing an ed. We are going right down the side of Loch Earn. Yeah, brakes are very good, front and back. Really liking them. Really impressed with that front one. The lack of fork dive might almost encourage me to use my front brakes. Although I have to say, I think I've said this before, but I am starting to use my front brake now too much. I'm forgetting to use my rear for slower stuff. Which is why we ended up doing a slow-mo section for my IAM yesterday, as Jason could see me needing some work on that. Look at that beautiful Loch Earn head. Still in a 30, David. just feel the suspension soaking up the bumps. Every now and again, a lovely pop, and I think it's acceleration rather than the overrun, but yeah, just there when you open her up. Third gear. It's just effortless, really is such a lot of bike. Be interesting to get back on the Tiger. Yeah, until I rode this obviously comes with a caveat that I have only ever ridden about 3 bikes. Where the hell does Kalimoto want me to go now? Turn left and left? I don't think so. Nah, that's 0.5, that's why. That is my waypoint. Yeah, that's better. Sorry, so, yeah, I mean, I rode the... I don't even know what it was, can't remember now. The bike I passed my test on. Potentially a Suzuki? 650 maybe? That sounds about right. Obviously the 125, the Suzuki 650, and then I bought this, sorry, not this, my Tiger 800, and the only other bikes I have ridden were a shot on Alex's Royal Enfield 350 when we were leaving Applecross, and a shot on Ed's Honda CBR 650R, I think, having typed it in the title on the YouTube channel. Anyway, it was a little pocket rocket. Alex's Royal Enfield was great fun. You were squeezing every bit of torque and every bit of horsepower out of that. And yeah, I think it was just along here we stopped on our first stop on our North Coast 500 ride for a wee coffee and breakfast. And yes, that's all the bikes I have to compare to, but this is incredible. I genuinely thought I would be, that's the cafe we stopped in there, St. Fillan's Village Store. And Jesus, this is a long ass story. I thought I would keep the Tiger, to be honest. I thought, what more do I need? Do I need a 1250 GS Adventure? I think the answer is yes now. I think before it was, yeah, I'd quite like one. My slight issue here is it an issue? I don't know. Well, I could go and buy one tomorrow. That's not a problem. I suspect I could get, I would like to think I could get 6 for my Tiger. Which would mean I've lost, I think I paid 7.5. I certainly did alright negotiating on it, because it was end of November 2 years ago when I bought it, so there wasn't much being bought and sold. And the guy was like, well, as you have no trade-in, Mr. Hay, I will, and I'm, yeah, from a commercial background, I don't usually take the first price that I get offered. So he was very nice, very fair, accepted my offer. So yeah, if I could return 6 grand back for my Tiger, oof, these brakes are sharp as you like. I would be very happy with that, given I bought it with 7,000 miles on the clock. Yeah, I've done 3 or 4 services, including valve clearance service. It's just been serviced before Ireland at 17,000. It's now done about 18.8, 19,000 miles. So yeah, it's mechanically very sound. Just had new tyres fitted, new front discs at vast expense, new pads all round. Doesn't really need a lot doing to it cosmetically. You know, it's got the full luggage set. It's in that lovely green. What else? Yeah, there's a few scuffs on the tank, I think, just from jacket and maybe from keys and the ignition. But, you know, nothing that couldn't be sorted. And certainly, yeah, there's a few scuffs down here where my feet are. The windshield probably needs replaced. It's quite scuffed up top. I've dropped the bike twice in my ownership. Once in, I think, the first couple of, well, certainly the first month, as Ed had said to me, just wait till you drop your bike. I'd parked in the driveway, I was late for a meeting, hopped off, and the bike just sunk into the gravel and kept going. So yeah, that landed on top of me, and I still have the bruise somehow. Still have the bruise on my shin that won't disappear. So yeah, I've still got that. And the other time was trying to put it on its paddock stand. Just lost balance, and it has no centre stand, and yeah, over it went. Crash bars, caught it both times. I think it was the crash bar that caught my shin. So this is us just heading down the side of Lochern Head. Obviously we've done that part, and then heading into Comrie, and then we are going to come into Comrie, and we're going to take a right, and we are going to take the Braco Road. I think it's Braco from memory. Wow, wow, wow. This bike. I love this bike. Like, really love it. Oh my word. So, quick battery change, and off we go again. I'll try not miss the turn off again. So I don't think I'm going to dick around with any of the settings. I think I'm going to have a wee shot in Dynamic Pro. Probably scare myself witless. But road for me is just fine. Quick shifter up the gears is brilliant. It's a great little road that takes you out just at the back of Glen Eagles. Yeah, downshift there, brilliant. All I'm going to say is if you haven't ridden a 1250 GS Adventure, go find one, go ride it, because this is a great bike. Well, I've already had a bird strike this morning, and I'd rather not have another. Come on, boys. Girls, even. Let's go. The brakes, I can, right, I've got it now. On mine, maybe I need to set the shocks to be a bit harder, a bit firmer, sorry. See if that'll make a difference, but this is just bang on. Scrubs off speed very quickly into those corners you're approaching. Yeah, lovely. So since I agreed with Andy that he would more than happily allow me to be the custodian of his bike for a day, dick around in it, test ride it, do something different for the old YouTube channel, I have looked at other YouTube videos. I think, as I've said before, there's a plethora of GS videos, so take your pick. It's a 40. A plethora of GS videos. I couldn't find many comparing the Tiger 800 to this. I'm sure I probably just didn't look long and hard enough. I'm sure I think I did watch one actually. And again, I think the guy had traded up from his 800 Tiger to a 1250 and very much enjoyed it, and I think the only downside he could find was like commuting on it, filtering, and it's a bigger, wider bike. I know my friend Ed had concerns when getting rid of his little Honda Pocket Rocket, and he ended up settling on the Transalp, which you'll see if you've watched the Ireland video. If you look at the North Coast 500 video, he did that on his little Pocket Rocket. But yeah, I mean, I can't see any downside to it. Just a brilliant bike. Now, here's what I was wondering. So I go in, I've test driven a 1250 GSA now. I really, really, really like it. Wow. That's a surprise, huh? Anyway, do I go into BMW Motorrad Dundee and go and speak to Ryan Westwater and take a 1300 GSA out? Am I just being silly? Do I then end up, rather than buying a 1250 GS outright, do I then end up in a finance deal on a 1300? I guess my question to myself is, would I notice the difference? Now, there's a lot of videos, which is probably where I was starting with this point, of 1250 owners riding the new 1300 Adventure and loving it, but ultimately saying it's not worth the extra 10, 15k on top of their bike. If we look at, for example, a sort of 22 plate, I think this has got about 8,000 miles on the clock. You're, I think, somewhere between 12 and 15 for a 1250. In my mind, I'm thinking 12.5, 13k. And then you look at a new 1300 Adventure, fully spec'd, and I think you're certainly north of 28 or north of 25, and 28 probably once you've ticked all the boxes. So yeah, is it hard to justify? Am I going the right way? Straight on. So yeah, I don't... Part of me would probably have to get rid of my X5 to justify having a big 1300 Adventure somehow to myself, doing some man maths. Could I just upgrade my Tiger to a 1250 GS Adventure and be happy? I think so. Certainly for a year or two. At which point the 1300. So I mean, I guess it's like me in car ownership. I'm always a few years behind, mainly just to save on pennies and that horrible depreciation feeling. Or you either enter into a PCP and suck it up, pay to have a brand new bike and hand it back, or do whatever. Yeah, so some thinking to do, but I guess my question is, do I actually... I don't want to waste Ryan's time, I've already said that to him. But I guess curiosity-wise it would be nice to do a comparison, good for the channel as well, just for a bit of extra content. And here here is Glen Eagles. So we're going to have a wee quick swizz round, stop, maybe do a sort of summary. They must see a motorbike arriving and thinking, what are you doing here? You are not coming to stay. Good to know. Not done my top box up. Oh, David. Such a rush to get back on the bike. So I used to come here as a kid to the country club. My old man used to have a membership here. And a family membership. We used to come here and go to the country club. Stayed in the new wing before. Beautiful. Yeah, they had to wave because I could have been anyone. Could have been Ewan McGregor on a bike trip. But I'm not. I'll just whack it in here. That is quite awkward. The centre stand's easier to get to than the main stand. Yes. Nice one. My hat nearly flying out. So yeah, what are my final impressions? Well, I think I've said them all. I'm not going to labour the point. It is a cracking bike. Really, really like it. So much so I know, whilst trying not to ignore Susie tonight, I will be deep on Auto Trader and such looking for a 1250 because I love it. Absolutely love it. I think the ideal is obviously a low miles, well spec'd one, hopefully with all the luggage. And yeah, I really, really like the 719 edition. I just have a thing for green. I really like that. It's triple black, don't know. But 719 in the green that would be, if I had all the money in the world and no cares, I would get a 1300 Adventure GS 719 edition in the green. Just, yeah. Anyway, amazing bike. I told you this would be a really great review. Amazing bike, so much power all through the gears. I love that boxer engine. It's great. I think it looks the part as a bike. I haven't played around with any of the tech, don't really need to. I will as I go through Glendevon. Maybe have a wee shot of Dynamic Pro, but more than enough bike for me. Those Brembo brakes, I'm blown away by them. Really, really good. Yeah, that is that. So I'll maybe put a bit more footage around the ride home. But yeah, if you haven't ridden one, find one and ride it. Okay, we're gonna have... Okay, don't press the stop button, David. That's not very intelligent. We were going for the mode button, David, not the stop button. Not very intelligent. Just stop the bike. So mode. Dynamic Pro. I didn't think this bike really needed any more pick up and go, but it's got it. Front brakes are delicious. And a few wee more pops in Dynamic Pro. Does the suspension feel harder? I don't know. I think it might feel a little firmer, David.